This evening and tonight, partly cloudy.
Good morning. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. It's great to have you along. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. We are just about to get underway. We've got the president campaigning against the U.S. Supreme Court, says Axios. So he is showing some signs of life. Also, we've got the Olympics now getting underway, day 3 today. So those are among the big stories. We'll start diving into them here. Thanks so much for letting me join you. I appreciate it.
The Biden administration has a fatal attraction to nutty ideas.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
I love the show.
I don't hate going to work anymore.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time.
I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
This is the Greg Belfrage Show.
Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. It's great to have you along. Hope you had a wonderful weekend as we're back at it again on a Monday morning. So the president will make the case today for changes to the Supreme Court, calling for 18-year term limits, a new code of ethics for justices. So the president showing signs of life here. He is pairing his call, this is Axios, pairing his calls for political reform of the court with the direct rebuke then of the 6-3 ruling the presidents have immunity for official acts that they made in office, which of course brought all of the Trump cases to a screeching halt, as you know. So the president will be making a trip to the LBJ Presidential Library in Texas. Misspoke there, apologies. And they'll be celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, and then he will call for a constitutional amendment that would effectively nullify the immunity decision. Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, the chances of, he's out there and he's making a show and here, this is what's going on, and the chances of that actually occurring are slim. I'm not saying can't happen, but they're slim, absolutely slim. So the president said this nation was founded on a simple yet profound principle: no one is above the law, not the president of the United States, not a justice on the Supreme Court of the United States, no one. So he's written an op-ed that's in the Washington Post this morning calling for this, which is the reason you hear Fox News and you'll be hearing other legacy media outlets and today making this, especially this morning. Very big story because this letter is appearing this morning, so the news is appropriately reacting to it. So he wants a new and enforceable code of ethics to go after judges like Justice Clarence Thomas, accepting trips. And the president said what is happening now is not normal. And I would agree with that. I would agree. I mean, there are a lot of things that are happening in this country and beyond that are not normal. It's one of the rare times I actually would agree with this president. So he said it undermines the public confidence in the court's decisions. No. For many of us, it's Joe Biden who undermines the public's confidence in government. So, but that's a very big story this morning. Also, of course, we got the Olympics underway. Are you watching? Today is day 3 of the Paris Olympics. 19 medals up for grabs today, including in swimming and men's gymnastics. So the U.S. men's swimming team won Team USA's first gold medal of the year. I think LeBron James and Kevin Durant helped defeat Serbia. So the U.S. women's soccer team, meanwhile, defeated Germany. Defending champion Canada suffered a penalty over a spying scandal involving drones. What? Also, Simone Biles, who is the world's most decorated gymnast, Simone Biles, She notched the highest all-around score in yesterday's qualifying round, becoming the first woman then to land the Yurchenko double pike, now known as the Biles 2, at the Olympics. Also, Katie Ledecky, she's an American swim star, came in third in the 400-meter freestyle. So you can, for those of you who are following, you can follow the medal count and so on out there. Now, as we talk about the Paris Games, there was a lot of outrage over the weekend. You likely saw this on social media, and we'll talk about it this morning. Organizers of the Paris Olympic Games now are apologizing for the opening ceremonies and they did a parody of the Last Supper. And there was a lot of anger. I mean, there was a lot of anger reacting to this. So, and not just Catholics, but other groups as well that were Christians in general, I think, who were quite offended by it and outraged. What they were doing was the opening ceremony. They were trying to evoke an image from Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper painting. And they did this with drag queens, a transgender model, and a singer made up as the Greek god of wine. This is Dionysus. And they're now apologizing. Clearly, there was never an intention to show disrespect to any religious group. Seriously? Oh, never any intent to show disrespect? You have got to be kidding me. I seriously. You have got to be joking. They said, we believe this. They said the opening ceremony tried to celebrate community tolerance. Oh, that's what this was about. We need community tolerance. And that's what we were trying to celebrate versus celebrating Olympic achievements, right? The achievements of athletes. This is why, I mean, it's this kind of stuff that's poisoned the NFL for a lot of people. It's poisoned sports at a lot of levels, poisoning the Olympics. Politics now is part of everything. I like it or not. Honestly, I don't. I don't like everything becoming political, and now we're trying to make a statement, and please, can we just compete? Can we just compete and celebrate athletic achievement? You can't blame people for being angry about this. To me, it's if the Paris Organizing Committee were to have asked me ahead of time and said, hey, we're considering doing this, would this be offensive? Yeah. You think? I mean, wow. You don't have to be brilliant to figure this stuff out. You really don't. And I don't know what it is, that people just check their brains when they're making these decisions. And what is it? The air in the room? You get a bunch of like-minded people together and any kind of common sense just cannot be found? Look under the chair. Can we find it somewhere? This is insane. Wow. So now they were apologizing. Folks are pretty upset. And the Guardian says this caused outrage among Catholics, Christian groups, and conservative politicians around the world, as well it should. So again, they say was never any attempt here to show disrespect. You've got to be joking. So they're in number. This story is actually trending this morning. It was trending over the weekend, as you can well imagine. And so, a bishop in Wisconsin called on Catholics to fast and pray, renew our devotion to the Eucharist, the Sacred Heart, and the Virgin Mary, he said. So again, it was a parody of the Last Supper with drag queens leading the thing. And that was part of the opening ceremonies. Not the entire opening ceremony, but it was part of the opening ceremonies. And this is what happens. I think this is one of the things that's unfortunate. You got the opening ceremonies underway. You've got a number of people who are participating, and then this happens, and it absolutely overshadows everything else. Understandable. Absolutely understandable. Who thought that was a great idea? Just incredible. Other big stories this morning. We will talk about that in a little bit more detail coming up this morning after 7. So if you've got thoughts, I'm surprised I didn't get any emails from you over the weekend, because this was a big story. I mean, I kind of take a break from the news. I don't entirely divest myself from the news, but I kind of take a break from the news over the weekend and just try to, just enjoy whatever I've got going on. And drop me an email if you've got thoughts this morning. I'd love to hear from you. greg.belfrage@kelo.com is my email address. Also, we've got Donald Trump coming to the defense of that female Secret Service agent who had faced a lot of criticism online after the assassination attempt. And you've likely, for those of you who are on social media in particular, her trying to holster her weapon and having some issue. Well, Trump came to her defense. And he said there was, he's speaking of Secret Service agents, and he called her brave. He said there wasn't one that was slow, a woman that was on my right, a beautiful person, Trump said. This is at his rally in Minnesota Saturday. Trump said she was shielding me with everything she could, and she got criticized by the fake news because she wasn't tall enough. Trump said she was so brave. She was shielding me with everything. She wanted to take a bullet. And there's been a lot of reaction to this online, and you likely have seen it. I know if I've seen it, I know you've seen it, right? Elon Musk said on X, could be a man or woman, to be clear, just needs to be large enough to do the job. So Trump was speaking at a rally in Minnesota over the weekend. And he touched on that. More about Trump in a moment. Also, we're learning that some police were aware that the 20-year-old shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, was lurking near a Donald Trump rally earlier this month. He had been there, and they were aware of it for more than 90 minutes before he opened fire. So these are text messages that were obtained by the New York Times. So the latest revelation is, and they published this yesterday, a series of text messages that were sent amongst a local police counter sniper team, including a warning from one man who was leaving his shift and texted his colleagues at nearly 4:30. Remember, the shooting took place, wasn't it? Again, about 90 minutes later. So at nearly 4:30 that Saturday, he warned them of a man who'd parked near them and would have seen the team sitting armed inside of this building. More than an hour later, another counter sniper took a photo of the shooter and told his colleagues he was seen pointing a rangefinder in the direction of the rally. Now we're also hearing that Secret Service did not brief local police prior generally they have a briefing, Secret Service and local police, they have a briefing, and there wasn't one. And law enforcement now is beginning to say, they pretty much knew at that time something was not right. So Donald Trump is promising that he will hold more outdoor rallies. This was on a Truth Social on Saturday. Trump said, I will continue to do outdoor rallies, and Secret Service has agreed to substantially step up their operation. I'm not you would almost have to, wouldn't you? I mean, Secret Service would almost have to substantially step up the operation. And Trump said, I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm concerned. I'm concerned about Trump's safety. But he said they're very capable of doing so. So the question is, maybe has the spotlight that's been on the Secret Service since the assassination attempt, well, we don't dare do that again. You know what I mean? Also, Google has been accused of election interference for omitting the assassination attempt on Donald Trump from its autocomplete. If you go on to Google, and this is you may have seen this. In fact, I saw Elon Musk had shared this on X. He said, wow, Google has a search ban on President Donald Trump. Election interference. So you write assassination attempt on, and you start T. It comes up. Well, it should be, what should the first thing be? An assassination attempt on T would be Trump, right? No, Truman. Comes up with Truman first. Well, Google's autocomplete. That's why I use a free spoken search engine. Also, speaking of Elon Musk, Elon Musk is generating headlines this morning, or over the weekend, I should say. Here's ABC News. A manipulated video that mimics the voice of Vice President Kamala Harris saying things she did not say is raising concerns about the power of artificial intelligence to mislead with Election Day about 3 months away. And so this was something on X over the weekend because Gavin Newsom responded to this. It's a parody video that Elon Musk posted. Obvious parody. Okay? I've seen a lot of them, but it's an obvious parody. So Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, responds to this. And he says, manipulating a voice in an ad, put it in quotes, like this one should be illegal. I'll be signing a bill in a matter of weeks to make sure it is. Oh, man, Gavin Newsom. And Elon Musk, and I got to tell you, this just cracked me. Elon Musk has a singular sense of humor. Elon Musk says, I checked with a renowned world authority, Professor Sugan D's nuts. And he said, parody is legal in America. Sugan D's nuts. That was the response from Elon Musk. So we'll talk about that in more detail coming up this morning. He's got a sense of humor. You've got to give him that, right? Also, one of the other big stories this morning is Deadpool and Wolverine hauled in about $205 million in its opening weekend at the domestic box office. It's the 8th largest opening ever and a record for an R-rated film. And that's a look at the big stories this morning. Suck on these nuts. All right. 625. Mostly cloudy at 68. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. Currently, mostly cloudy skies and 68. And you're listening to the Greg Belfrage Show on Kello.
528 Kello News Talk.
Yeah, that just cracked me up, Elon Musk. There are a lot of, I think, legitimate concerns about AI. But Gavin Newsom's response, we got to pass legislation. Yeah. Good luck with that.
That pesky patio door. They used to slide open and shut with ease. But now it takes more.
But you do have to be careful. I mean, for those of you who are on social media, you likely have seen a lot of these. You know, I'm seeing more and more of it, in fact. And I'm not actually that prolific on social media.
It's easy to find one that fits your existing colors. When you close a weather shield door, you know you're closing them back. You're not just upgrading your patio door, you're upgrading your view and your home. To learn more, stop by our showroom at 3rd and Kiwanis or check us out on the web at kwunlimited.com.
Kitchens and windows, unlimited. Just look what we can do.
Stop what you're doing and listen to this. Your God-given freedoms are up for the taking, and those doing the taking are the same people who've sworn to defend your freedom. They think they can control the media, hide the truth, and force their delusions onto your family. You know what they can't take away? Self-reliance, peace of mind. Got water filtration? You should. A charged solar.
A lot of stories trending regarding the Olympics.
My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the most trusted name in survival, and for damn good reason, too. Go to mypatriotsupply.com right now and save $200 on their best-selling 3-month emergency food kit. It delivers over 2,000 calories per day, plus sealed inside, practically unpierceable packaging. It lasts up to 25 years. Oh, and did I mention it's delicious? Go to mypatriotsupply.com and save $200 per kit. Includes fast and free shipping. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
Paid for by government. Did you hear?
See, Democrats are trying to get Trump to
Liberty coins have been found. These gorgeous 1904p gold coins are
do something. Chuck Schumer said yesterday that Trump's decision to pick J.D. Vance as his running mate may be one of the best things he ever did for Democrats. And he's saying there's still, will he keep Vance on the ticket? Or does he pick someone new? It's his choice. If they thought that was so terrible, why would they be bringing it up? Why would they be saying, hey there, Donald Trump, there's still time for you to change? If it's such a gold mine for Democrats, why would they say anything? Because I have kind of always thought when your opponents are doing something stupid, get out of the way and let them do it, right? Makes sense to me.
Will become mostly sunny for today. We'll have a high temperature of 88, north winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. For this evening and tonight, partly cloudy skies. The fall is 68. There may be an isolated shower or thunderstorm during the overnight. Hot and humid for tomorrow, high temperature at 91 with mostly sunny skies. For the Kelloland Storm Center,
and in Sioux Falls at 629, it's mostly cloudy and 68 at Kello. Joe Bowman is in the Kello.com News Center. Coming up, South Dakota DCI has cleared that Minnehaha County Sheriff's deputy in the shooting of an armed hostage that was taken earlier this month. Also, crews are mopping up a wildfire near Wind Cave National Park in the Black Hills. And Sioux Falls Mayor Paul Tenaiken pulled in the reins on this year's budget proposal, and he's talking about why he's done so. So Joe will have details on those stories and more coming up for you in just a few moments. And then I'll run down stories that are trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. Those are also on the way. Thanks for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show here on Kello.
Foster. President Biden announced a proposal to reform the Supreme Court and reverse a recent Supreme Court decision about presidential immunity.
These would include no immunity for crimes a former president committed in office, term limits for Supreme Court justices, and a binding code of conduct for the Supreme Court.
Fox's Todd Pyro. President Biden speaks this afternoon at the Lyndon Baines Johnson Presidential Library in Austin, Texas. There's some progress reported fighting what's become California's 7th largest wildfire on record, more than 560 square miles.
Much needed relief as they continue to battle the massive park fire. Cooler temperatures and increased humidity are helping them gain control over that fire, but the quickly growing fire has scorched more than 360,000 acres and is only about 12% contained.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer. At least 66 structures are reported to have been destroyed. No deaths are reported. America's listening to Fox News.
Kello News Time, 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. The shooting of an armed hostage taker in Sioux Falls has been ruled justified. The South Dakota Division of Criminal Investigation found that the Minnehaha County Sheriff's deputy was justified in the shooting of Daniel Todd Augustine during the hostage incident that occurred earlier this month. Augustine, age 26, of Sioux Falls, fired shots at law enforcement while holding a clerk hostage at the Get and Go at 600 South Minnesota Avenue back on July 3rd. The deputy fired one round from a sniper rifle, killing Augustine after he behaved erratically and refused to comply with authorities. The clerk was not injured. Crews are mopping up a wildfire near Wind Cave National Park in the southern Black Hills. The National Park Service says the limestone fire was sparked by lightning early Saturday afternoon and had grown to more than 13 acres before firefighters got a handle on it. 2 aircraft were called in to help fight the blaze. No injuries or structural damage reported. Sioux Falls Mayor Paulton Haken pulled in the reins in this year's budget proposal, and for good reason. Inflation is still high, sales tax revenues are declining, and there's a potential budget killer lurking in the shadows. The mayor is concerned about the impact of initiated Measure 28, a proposal to repeal the sales tax on consumable items.
If voters choose this ballot measure, our community would likely see a substantial reduction in sales tax revenue that would profoundly impact our budget and our ability to move critical infrastructure projects forward and our delivery of services to the public.
The City Council will go through the proposal in coming weeks before adopting a budget in September. And Sioux Falls native Taryn Cloth and her beach volleyball teammate Kristen Nuss are back in action today at the Summer Olympics in Paris. The two will take on the Australian team at the Eiffel Tower Stadium. Cloth and Nuss won their opening match against Canada on Saturday. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello, News Talk 1320, 107.9.
Weather brought to you by Intech Cleaning and Restoration. If you need it clean, call the Intech team. IntechClean.com.
Becoming mostly sunny, hot, and humid today. High temperature near 90, while the north wind of 5 to 15 miles per hour. For this evening and tonight, partly cloudy skies or maybe an isolated shower or thunderstorm during the overnight. Well, it's 68. Hot and humid again for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine. High temperature at 91. This time with southeast winds of 10 to 20. For the Kello Land Storm Center, I'm Scott Martin.
Controversy and conversation go hand in hand on Kello. News Talk 1320, 107.9, and Kello.com.
When my son was much younger, he and his friends loved an online game called Roblox. It was a safe place for kids. Not anymore. For your kids, Roblox has become a very dangerous place. I'm Kim Commando for Simply Safe. Save 20% on a new Simply Safe system with a Fast Protect plan at simplysafekim.com. Since 2006, Roblox has been a major online game. In 2020, it had more than 35 million people online every day. 78 million use it a few times a week. It's the world's largest recreation zone for kids. But today, to be blunt, Roblox has a pedophile problem. Of these 78 million, 30 million are younger than 13. Pedophiles pretend to be kids and lure innocents through poorly monitored online chats. The owners of Roblox could make it safer. They could police their entire network more carefully, but they don't. So a word to the wise. Very young children should not be on Roblox. Be a strong parent, just say no. Sign up for my free newsletter at getkim.com. When it comes to protecting those who matter most, you need a home security system that you can trust. For years, I've trusted SimpliSafe to protect my studios. With advanced security technology and a customer-first approach, SimpliSafe is the security system I recommend. SimpliSafe is backed by 24/7 professional monitoring, guarding your home with sensors and cameras to protect you and your family. With LiveGuard, agents act within 5 seconds of receiving an alarm and take immediate actions to protect you. They can even see and speak to intruders inside your home, stopping them in their tracks. SimpliSafe does not require a long-term contract. They earn your business every day by keeping you safe. SimpliSafe has given so many of my listeners real peace of mind. I want you to have it too. Get 20% off any new SimpliSafe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com. simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
The Kim Commando Show, live Saturday mornings at 9. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires, your Give You More tire and automotive store. Financing programs available, 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
Bring charm from the outdoors into your home with Renewal by Anderson picture and combination windows. Optimizing a beautiful view and lighten a bedroom, kitchen, or living room from ABC Seamless of Sioux Falls. Call 605-646-2667 today.
That's ABC Seamless. Protect your home with style, ensuring lasting beauty and protection. Upgrade your roof today. Call Woods Roofing Inc. at 605-764-9517 for your free estimate. For a whole in-your roof or for a whole new roof, give us a call. 605-764-9517.
I'm going to let you in on a little wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half every single month. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, they want you to believe that you need unlimited data so they can overcharge you. Well, here's the fact. Most of you are buying way more data than you'll ever need. Now, Pure Talk, my cell phone company.
Lots of stories trending regarding the Olympics and
$25 a month,
who's winning and how things are going.
Text and 5 gigs of data plus mobile hotspot, $25. And do you know what you can do with 5 gigs of data? Well, you can browse the internet for 135 hours.
Seen in the opening ceremonies is also
video. Stop overpaying
trending.
for wireless. Get 5G coverage with Pure Talk.
It was trending through the weekend, in fact.
Keyword save now. Check in with one of Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team members. No contract assigned, no activation fee, and you can even keep your phone and your phone number. Pound 250. Keyword save now. Do it now. You save an additional 50% off your first month from Pure Talk.
With Kello, you can have the latest news reports in your bedroom.
Get the latest news and weather updates anywhere you've got a smart speaker.
And get the news before you get in the car or before you get out of bed.
All right. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
It's always a race every morning. I'm trying to get stuff together in a way that makes sense. 638, mostly cloudy, and 68. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. So great to have you along this morning. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. This hour brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
Them on Facebook. Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
Well, the Olympics is dominating trending stories this morning. Simone Biles dominating in the Olympic gymnastics qualifiers despite that calf injury that she suffered. So she is still doing incredibly well. And so there's been a lot of reporting on her returning to the Olympic stage. She is the most decorated gymnast in history. She's 27 years old. Advanced to the finals in all 4 individual events, led the United States to first place through the second of 5 qualifying sessions yesterday. Also, Team USA winning its first gold at the Paris Olympics. And it was Team USA winning the men's, this was one of the freestyle rallies for the first gold of the Paris Olympics. And this was Saturday night that they won that. So Team USA winning its first gold at the 2024 Olympics. Saw that fairly quickly then over the weekend. Also, Sarah Bacon and Cassidy Cook took home the first medal for Team USA in women's synchronized springboard. So they won a silver medal over the weekend. Also, story trending, China topping South Korea. China winning its first gold medal of the 2024 Olympics. This story is trending, and they won it in mixed team air rifle shooting. So it was the first gold for China of the Paris Olympics, but the athletes were nowhere near Paris. The Olympic shooting range is a 3-hour drive from Paris, but part of the official games, and they won. Also, there's a lot of outrage over the Olympics opening ceremony, portraying the Last Supper with drag queens, and a number of bishops are upset over this. Christians have been critical of this, and we'll talk about that in more detail coming up this morning. Did you see that? What was your reaction as you saw that being shared over the weekend? Also, so they depicted the Last Supper, and then they had a bunch of drag queens and so on that were doing it. And for many, that you kind of take that as a gigantic middle finger, I think, is the way that many of us kind of perceive that. Certainly the way I perceive it. But I feel that way in general in sports, that I'm getting that from sports personalities all the time. It's one reason I'm not a big sports fan. Also, you had several districts in Paris experiencing major power outages during the Olympics. Paris was hit by a power blackout. And so it kind of got things off to a kind of a stumbling start there. Also, Team USA began the Paris Olympics basketball with an impressive win over Serbia. And this is in men's basketball. So Kevin Durant and LeBron James helped propel the USA men's basketball team in the Olympic opening. Also, the Olympic triathlon, there was a training event that was canceled over water quality concerns in the river on which it was to take place. So the training event was canceled. All right, other stories that are trending this morning. NBC has announced a new $77 billion media deal with ESPN, NBC, and Amazon. TNT gets left out, and Charles Barkley's not happy about that. Charles Barkley dunked on the NBA's new broadcast deal. He said it just sucks. That sounds like Charles Barkley. Also, a number of stories that are trending this morning around Donald Trump. This actually is from Friday. That Donald Trump was going after Vice President Kamala Harris, and he escalated then his criticism of Kamala, calling her a bum. Accused her of failing in her role as vice president. And Trump said she was a bum 3 weeks ago. She was a bum, a failed vice president. So those comments are trending. Also, Donald Trump is appearing now without a near bandage. So the first time over the weekend that Donald Trump was had been seen without an ear bandage. And in fact, the FBI now is confirming, that Donald Trump was indeed struck by a bullet in the assassination attempt. I don't think that comes as news to anybody, but seriously, we all knew Donald Trump was struck by a bullet. It was the director of the FBI who said, hey, it might be shrapnel, it might be... He was out there planting the seeds of doubt. So now the FBI confirms, it was a bullet that struck Donald Trump's ear, and they announced this on Friday. So the fact that they have to come out and announce, that agency is royally screwed up. They have to come out, and again, I'll remind you, it was the director of the FBI who was the one out there saying, suggesting it might have been shrapnel. We don't know. No, it was a bullet. We all know it was a bullet. You just have to go with what you know to be true. And regardless of what the government says, that's what's happening. So Donald Trump over the weekend then returning to Minnesota with J.D. Vance trying to win Minnesota, which leans Democrat. And so Trump held a rally on Saturday night in St. Cloud along with J.D. Vance. The two of them were there. And Trump also now is vowing to hold his rallies outdoors. Trump has, and we talked about this a little bit last week as to whether or not Donald Trump should be holding his rallies indoors versus outdoors. Those of us, I think, who are concerned about Donald Trump's safety, were saying, let's go indoors. Might it result in a smaller number of people attending? Yeah, it might, but let's make sure that he's safe. And Trump is saying now the Secret Service is doing more to protect him. And he also says the Secret Service must protect him. So he will be doing more outdoor rallies because the size of some of those has just been phenomenal. Donald Trump also says he'll return to Butler, Pennsylvania. And he announced this on Friday. And he would soon be holding another campaign event in the same city to honor the volunteer firefighter who was killed, as well as the two other brave patriots, Trump called them, who were wounded. So he's going back, says Trump. Also, Trump over the weekend condemned the Saturday attack on Israel that left a dozen children and teenagers dead, blaming a weak and ineffective U.S. president and vice president. So these were among his remarks at the rally in St. Cloud in Minnesota over the weekend. And Trump said, our hearts go out to the families of these innocent children. No parent should have to suffer the terrible loss of a child at the hands of terrorists or anybody else. Today's attack on Israel cannot be forgotten. And that things there are heating up. There is concern about whether, this is going to lead to World War III. I think I'm seeing that more and more. I've seen that for a while, and I really kind of hesitate that. But is this escalating to a global conflict? So Trump said that Hezbollah wouldn't have done this if I were the president. They wouldn't have done that, and they didn't. With time, the situation will only get worse for our country with the kind of leadership that we have right now, which is no leadership. It's probably worse than no leadership. It's negative, he said. Also, J.D. Vance, Kamala Harris is questioning his loyalty. And so Vance responded to this yesterday in Minnesota. He said, Kamala Harris questioned my loyalty to this country. That's the word she used, loyalty, he said. I'd like to ask the vice president, what has she done to question my loyalty to this country? I served in the United States Marine Corps. I went to Iraq for this country. I built a business for this country. And my running mate took a bullet for this country. So my question to Kamala Harris is, what the hell have you done to question our loyalty to the United States of America? Mr. Vance, keep punching back just like that. You keep, this is why Chuck Schumer says, he says that Donald Trump choosing J.D. Vance may be one of the best things he ever did for Democrats by choosing J.D. Vance. So, other stories trending this morning. There's a well-known gospel group called the Nellens. And forgive me if I mispronounce that. I've heard it. Is it the Nellens or Nelons? Nelons generally has an A in there. This is Nelons. So, so this is a gospel Hall of Fame group, and 3 of their members were killed. There were 7 people killed in a plane crash. 3 of them were members of this well-known gospel group. And as they announced this in a statement on X, they said, our entire family is asking everyone to join us in praying for those who have been lost, for their loved ones and communities, and for those throughout the gospel music community who have lost dear friends in this heartbreaking accident. The group was on their way to the 7-day Gaither Homecoming Alaskan cruise when they were killed. So this was in Wyoming, is where the plane crashed. Also, the official cause of death for Sinead O'Connor has been revealed about a year after her passing. Her exact cause of death were respiratory issues. So she had COPD and other respiratory issues that led to her death, and her death certificate listing a number of them according to reports. So the cause of death revealed on the first anniversary of her passing. Also, TikTok has been collecting user data on, now we're talking about user data, those who use TikTok, on issues like abortion, gun control, and religion. According to the Justice Department, the TikTok collected bulk user information based on these divisive social issues. The documents filed with the Federal Appeals Court in Washington, government lawyers stated that TikTok and their parent company, ByteDance, used an internal web suite system to facilitate communication between TikTok employees and ByteDance engineers in China. So this is why some who have said believe that TikTok should be, the U.S. should shut down TikTok in the United States. been a lot of political wrangling and battles over TikTok. Also, the DOJ has settled the lawsuit with two former FBI officials over the release of text messages during the Trump administration. So Peter Strzok, you remember him, former FBI official, he reached a $1.2 million settlement with the Justice Department. Also, Lisa Page. So the town hall's got a piece on this. The Biden Justice Department agrees to a disgraceful settlement with Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. There were a few other stories here from over the weekend, some even from last Friday. Did you see this? Chicken wings advertised as boneless can have bones, according to a Supreme Court ruling. Thanks so much for letting me join you this morning, this hour of the Greg Belfrage Show, brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. It's mostly cloudy and 68. You're listening to the Greg Belfrage Show on Kello.
Information.
I want to thank you so much, my friend, for letting me join you this morning on YouTube. Well, please join me again at 9:30 this morning for the after show. We've got to come up with a better name for that. I would love to get your thoughts on the name for the show that I do after the program. So that'll be coming up at 9:30 just on YouTube. So I hope you'll join me then. Take care, my friend. So long until tomorrow, and may God bless.